Hey everyone. So hopefully by now you've listened to the recording of me introducing myself. Now I want to go ahead and introduce you to the course. To do so, I'm just going to walk through Canvas and show you the various places where you can find the information that you need to be successful in the course. So when you log into Canvas and then click on BC351, you will land here on this page. Now on this page, there's not really a lot here except for I want you to pay attention to this announcement. I'll stay right here, but you should see when you log on, probably depends on when you log on the first time, but certainly as you head into the first week of the classes, you'll probably see some announcements pop up here, okay? Look at announcements, the full announcements, by clicking on the announcements page. And I wanted to go here because every week, Monday at 8 o'clock, I will post a BC351 Week 1 or Week 2, Week 3. And that weekly announcement is going to be the way to organize yourself for that week. Okay, within it, there will be a short paragraph of something going on, not always related to the class, quite honestly, but, we can have some fun with that. But it'll give you the reading assignments. It'll give you the Echo 360 recordings. Don't worry, I'll get there and talk about those things here in a little bit. And all the assignments that you have due that week, and also future assignments like upcoming exams. Okay, so really want to encourage you when you log into the class, you want to look for new announcements, and I would also encourage you to make it a habit to log in Monday morning, look at the weekly announcement, and write down all the things you got to get done and when you're going to get them done so that you don't fall behind in the class and start missing assignments. You don't want to do that because if you do that, that will be detrimental to your success in the course. Okay, now let's go ahead and go back to our home page. Okay, so like I said, you'll see announcements starts to populate. It'll show the three most recent announcements right here, at least a portion of them. Okay, now the course really is going to be organized around these modules. So let me go ahead and click on this. And you get to the modules page, and of course you want to, if you haven't already, and I think you probably already have, you want to click on the Start Here, and this is going to take you to the Start Here page. Probably listening to these videos, it might look a little bit different by the time you get to this, but this is what you want to walk through each of these steps. Now in this, and this is really important, you'll find the course syllabus. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. I'm going to show you this. It has at the very top my contact information, my Zoom link information, prerequisites for the course, textbook, learning goals, all the way, lots of policies like the late work policy, all sorts of things. At the very end of this, okay, it'll also have a schedule of assignments that you want to look at as well, okay? And you potentially might even want to print that off. Okay, so please spend some time reading through the syllabus. It's going to be the organizing force for our course. Now, let's come back here. Okay, I meant to say this. Okay, in terms of contacting me, right at the very top here, you'll see my email address. That is the best way to get a hold of me. I'm really diligent about checking emails. I'll check emails often, and I will respond to emails typically within less than 24 hours, sometimes within the very hour that you send it, okay, depending on if I'm on or not. Okay, I do teach face-to-face classes too, so there are times where I'm not at my desk and looking at my computer, so I won't be checking email then, but I'm really good at getting back to students through email. Okay, having said that, if you write me an email at Friday at like 8:30 at night, I probably won't see that until Monday morning. Okay, so I usually try and keep my weekends free from work. That's not always the case, okay, but usually the case. So if you send me something on Friday night, I probably won't respond to it until Monday morning. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and come back here. Let's go back to the modules. Okay, and the course is going to be organized around 14 chapters that are found in the book. So you got Chapter 1 module, Chapter 2 module, so on and so forth. Okay, now those chapters refer to chapters within the book. Okay, so if you go back to the Start Here page, let's come here, you can gain access to the book simply by clicking on this, or if you come here, Day 1 Access, you can click on that, and that will take you to the book. You will have to make an account, and then once you make an account, you'll have a link to the text. Okay, so the text is going to be up here. Let me come here. when you first make that account, you probably land on this page. Okay, and this page has all the readings, okay, chapters 1 through 14 that are found in the book. Okay, now come back to here. Let's go back to our module page. Okay, so chapter 1, physical consideration for living systems. Chapter 1, physical considerations for living systems. Okay, so these modules will follow very closely that book. Okay, now as we go through these modules, I'm sorry, I landed. This is the wrong class. There we go. As we go through these modules, you're going to notice a couple of things. First of all, you'll notice this PDF. I'm not going to click on it, but if I were, it would pull up a set of slides, and those slides are going to be the slides that I use in lectures that you will find pre-recorded here in this Echo 360 link. All right, so let's click on that. In an Echo 360, you're going to find LN01A, LN01B, LN01C, all the way to LN14B. Okay, the number is related to the chapter being covered in the text, and then A, B, C is just how many lectures it takes to get through that content. These recordings were made in fall of 2025. In fall of 2025, the course, BC351, met for 50 minutes, 4 days a week, okay, in front of a live audience. Okay, that's what you're listening to in these. All right, so each week, I want you to listen to 4 of these recordings. Okay, now let's come back to our module here. Okay, you will notice here there are these discussion forums links, LN01A, 1B, 1C. Right. Each day in the class in fall of 2025, I asked students iClicker questions. You can't respond to those iClicker questions, at least not using the iClicker response system, but you can respond to them in discussion forums. So when you're listening, if you hear an iClicker question in the Echo 360, go ahead and pause it, come back to this discussion forum, answer it, and at the end of that lecture recording, you want to go ahead and submit that discussion forum. If you do that, and you do that for 80% of these discussion forums found in these chapters, then I will give you 10 points of extra credit. And that's whether you get the answers right, the answers wrong, whatever. Okay, so as long as you are responding, okay, I will give you that credit. And you have to respond up to 80% of the time. Okay, so that's, a lot of what you see in these modules. Now, at the same time, you will also see in these modules, for instance, it says Chapter 1, okay, quiz, Chapter 2, quiz, okay, and there are these various quizzes, and then you get to Chapter 4, and it says amino acid structural tutorial, Chapter 4 quiz, Chapter 5, there's a peptide backbone quiz, there's these assignments, okay. Those assignments, when you click on them after you made your account with the book, are going to take you to one of these tabs. Okay, so if you're doing a chapter quiz, all the chapters have an end of the chapter quiz. They have due dates that are listed in Canvas, that are listed on the schedule, and they're also listed here. Right? You will want to take this quiz once you're done with Chapter 1 material in Echo 360 and also have read the book. Okay, so when you take that, okay, it's worth 5 points. You'll get 2 attempts, so we're going to take your highest score. Okay, this is due on September 1st of 2026, of course. Okay, and every chapter will have a chapter quiz. Some chapters will have additional material. Okay, so for instance, chapters 4, chapters 5, and chapter 8 will have these structural tutorials. I'm going to go ahead and click on the amino acid structural tutorial is found in chapter 4. Okay. These structural tutorials, you'll get this really cool 3-dimensional feel of an amino acid, and then you'll kind of work your way through this and read through this, and there are these little buttons, and you click on them, and that will change what you're looking at. Okay, and they'll be animated, really cool stuff. Okay, you're going to want to go through the entire tutorial, and at the end of it, you want to take the quiz. That quiz is due September 9th, okay, when we get into Chapter 4 material. Okay, if we come back here, there are also in chapters 11 and 12 what we call drag and drop assignments. Okay, so you'll want to go through this. You'll click on this next, go through the whole thing, and then when you're done with that, you'll want to come here, click on this, and take the quiz. Again, you get 2 attempts on all of these. Okay, so now the last thing to mention here while we're in the book is that there are also practice materials. Practice materials are not for credit. You do not have to do them. However, I'm going to strongly encourage that you do them because they'll be very helpful in preparation for the exams. I'm willing to give a student 5 points of extra credit if you do 12 of the 14 chapters of the extra credit. Okay, and by that, when I say that you've done them, you've got at least a non-zero score on them. You can do these unlimited number of times. You can take them as many times as you want. Okay, just make sure you submit them. Now, I will say they do have due dates. Okay, so chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4, those practice materials will close on September 23rd, 2026 at 11:59 Mountain Time, because that is also when exam 1 is due. Okay, so these are to be used to study for the exams. Okay, and again, you're not required to do them, but you can get extra credit for doing them. Okay, now let's come back here. Speaking of exams, speaking of studying for exams, okay, we have 4 exams in the class. Study materials for the exams are found in study material modules. Exam 1, Exam 2, Exam 3, Exam 4 all have study guides and practice exams, and then course learning objectives connected to them. Strongly encourage you to use those things to do well on the exams. Okay, exams will be worth 100 points, and they will have definite due dates. I will send out a number of announcements, in particular as we head into the first exam, to line you up on how to complete those exams. Okay. One thing I'm going to say, they will have to be proctored. You'll be using Lockdown Browser to proctor them. Again, I will give you information and announcements as we head into the weeks into the exam to line you up on how to use Lockdown Browser. Okay? All right. I think that that's probably sufficient, okay? At least I've shown you where to find all the things that you need to be successful in this class. Big things, announcements, modules, syllabus in the start here, and then finally Echo 360, and then, of course, the book, okay? All right, so please reach out to me if you have questions, if you're confused. Like I said, I'm very responsive to email. All right, I'm looking forward to the semester. It's going to be awesome.